Hello, my darlings. I'm Seren Briar, and welcome to BiteNotes, the recap show for the Vampire the Masquerade Chronicle ATL by night. Tonight, we look back at Season 2's Prologue and Chapters 1 and 2. Now, let's sit back, relax, and recap a vampire story. Prologue. It occurs to Anton that although Falcon is taking care of things at Proctor's house, she doesn't know how to access the chantry. He texts the shepherds to meet him at Emory University, if they're free. Cirrus is suspiciously already there, and he and Aaron go with Anton to Proctor's farm. Anton reveals a trap door in the barn, which opens onto a staircase leading down into a cozy living room with bohemian decor. This is the chantry of the Atlanta Camarilla. Few people know it even still exists, since the original was destroyed in the final nights, and Anton swears the others to secrecy. He leads the boys down and into the library, a converted underground missile shelter. Footsteps begin ascending a staircase in the middle of the room. Cirrus immediately draws his gun and obfuscates himself. A short individual in a long black coat appears and questions who the boys are and if they're even supposed to be here. After a skeptical conversation, the stranger ascends the stairs and introduces himself as Cornelius Mayers, played by special guest Elise Hawes. Cirrus becomes visible with his gun pointed at Cornelius's head, but Anton tells him to stand down. Aaron and Cirrus are introduced, and Anton fully identifies himself as being formerly of the Fifth Circle of Mysteries of House Tremere, but is now of House Carna. Tremere shit. Cornelius tries to dodge most of Anton's questions, but eventually reveals that he was embraced in 1999 when he was a pre-law student in college, and subsequently attended Olivia's school. He hasn't left the chantry since 2011. Since Cornelius was sired illegally under Prince Talbot's orders, Proctor has to keep him hidden until he learns how to properly exist as a Tremere within the Camarilla. Anton explains to Cornelius that Prince Talbot has been unstable as of late, leading to the Primogen being sent away. Cornelius has a theory about Talbot's change in personality. Sudden strange behavior can be caused by a blood bond. Specifically, erratic behavior like Talbot's is known to be a side effect of a bond to a La Sombra.
I'd like to come back with at least 3 books on the subject.
Okay.
That I have just even if it mentions it remotely. So
Okay.
I come back, books in arms full of them, I sprawl them out on the table, and I go, so I found these. And I flip through one, I present it, I flip through another and I present it, I flip through one where it has just one paragraph on it, and I present that one too. I go, so, based on my readings, your prince is completely bloodbound to something.
Bloodbound?
Oh, for sure. So, his mood changes, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's being affected by something, and it's affected his demeanor, how he treats people, and the decisions he makes. Now, originally, I did think it possibly could be maybe dementation or dominate or something of that nature, but it doesn't seem like that based on the frequency at which it occurs, and therefore, I've come to the conclusion that something is feeding him, and it's not one of us, because apparently we can't do that, because something happened, and
It's complicated, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, I believe your prince is being bloodbound by something, and my first guess is dependent on something that is seducing him, because typically that's how that happens.
This is a very old, very powerful prince, and you think that they are simply tricking him into drinking their blood enough times for a bond?
Well, it, as far as I know, should only take 3 sips, and I think there's a few different ways to give somebody your blood. You can poison their drinks, You can get them to actually drink it. You can offer something in exchange, and since there's so many ways to trick someone, I would not think it out of the question for something even more powerful than the prince to trick the prince into drinking its blood, and therefore together you have this unfortunate news.
Clan La Sombra are extremely powerful kindred. Anton thought they'd been driven out of Atlanta with the Sabbat. The idea that they are back and possibly controlling the prince is a troubling discovery. Anton answers some questions that Cornelius has about the organizational structure of the Tremere. He also promises Cornelius a bloodstone so he can leave the chantry but won't be able to disappear on them. Armed with the new information of a La Sombra blood bond, the shepherds leave the chantry, although Anton promises to check in on Cornelius soon. Chapter 1: Traditions and Treason. In their havens, the shepherds all receive a mass text from Prince Talbot. It's time for his Masquerade ball. Appropriately, it's being held at the Masquerade music venue. Philip drives Thomasina, Anton, Melisande, and Aaron in the limo. Cyrus isn't attending. Tonight, the masquerade is Elysium, which means no powers or weapons, and everyone is welcome. They see Falcon almost as soon as they enter, wearing a lace mask with her hair pulled back with decorative sticks. She gives them a breakdown of the 3 smaller venues encompassed by the masquerade. Heaven is the main party, Hell has a live band, and Purgatory contains refreshments. The shepherds try Hell first, where a live speed metal band is playing. It's pretty awful. They catch a few glimpses of Talbot in the mosh pit. Between songs, Thomasina approaches him to pay her respects, but Talbot seems to not remember who she is. He plants a kiss on her regardless, and speechless, she joins the rest of her coterie in heaven. The mood in heaven is a lot calmer. There's a stage set up with individual chairs for each member of the new council, and one elaborate red chair very clearly for Talbot. Most of the newly appointed Primogen appear to be here as well. A few of them seem genuinely uncomfortable with their new positions, but others are reveling in the attention. Meanwhile, Talbot himself drags a dark-haired human woman out of Purgatory, throws her onto the fancy red chair on the stage, and begins feeding from her femoral artery. The coterie moves to Purgatory, the smallest of the venues. Couches fill the room, humans and free-feeding kindred sprawled across them. The humans appear to be drunk, high, or both. The display makes Aaron visibly uncomfortable. The party continues on for a while until it becomes clear that the main event is about to begin. Everyone in attendance makes their way to heaven. Talbot gives a speech on stage about how painful it was when the former Primogen abandoned them, and how pleased he is to present the new council to inconsistent applause. The new Primogen, including Falcon, walk out and take their seats. Talbot covers his hand in his meal's blood before shaking the Primogen's hands, saving Falcon for last. He and the council exit to the VIP lounge upstairs. As the party picks up, the Primogen, except for Falcon, return to the festivities. Melisande runs into Hex, who tells her that the Nosferatu are collectively already planning to kill their new Primogen. From the VIP lounge, yelling begins to carry over the music. Falcon and Prince Talbot are in a screaming match about Talbot sending the true Primogen away. Falcon storms down the stairs, but Talbot follows quickly and kicks her down them.
I go to try to pick her up.
And before you can, Talbot is down the stairs, grabbing her up by the front of her jacket, and the room starts to get darker. Much, much darker.
He's holding on to Falcon. He looks at you and goes, "Try it!" He turns back to Falcon and says, "Say it again, Pumpkin. Say it one more time. Right? This time you're just not going to run away like a bitch, alright?"
You're the reason they're gone. They didn't abandon us. You orchestrated this. You betrayed Atlanta, and that means you are no prince.
I am a prince. This is my domain. Atlanta is mine. If you got a problem with it, Falcon, you can go downstairs with the rest of the Primogen in cages.
Cages? I fucking knew it! I knew you did this, you bastard!
And what are you gonna fucking do about it? Your clan is only in the Camarilla out of my good graces. All of you Primogen belong to me to do with as I see fit, and there ain't a good goddamn you can do about it.
And Talbot's last words are suddenly cut off, and you hear a loud thud to the ground. And the shadows that had been growing and suffocating the room before dissipate, and you see Talbot on the floor with Falcon sitting on his chest, one of her hair sticks plunged deep into his chest.
It's clear that there has been some form of shadow in the masquerade all night until now. Falcon stands and declares Talbot Rourke guilty of treason per the Atlanta Camarilla. She turns to Melisande, who uses majesty to get the attention of everyone in the room. Mel announces that anyone found to be taking advantage of this treason will have a blood hunt called upon them, and orders everyone to leave. The other shepherds rush to Falcon and collect Talbot's staked body. They return to the Athenaeum, Falcon and Talbot in tow. In the car, Falcon explains that the Atlanta Camarilla is how the Primogen Council and Prince Talbot put Atlanta back together. It is their own rules, in addition to the traditions. Talbot was a very different man back then, genuinely wanting to rebuild the city and make it better. Anton lets them all inside the Athenaeum through a hidden back entrance to the lower level. He drains some of Talbot's blood into a silver bowl before pushing aside a filing cabinet and opening the hidden trapdoor. Anton removes a set of manacles and his flamethrower, shackles Talbot, and kicks him down the hole. Prince Talbot Rourke is now in torpor and manacled in a sub-basement. Aaron explains the offer from the Garu to Falcon while Anton performs a ritual on the bowl of Talbot's blood. Falcon knows that, to the Garu, proof of Talbot's death means they want to witness his execution. She assumes that this tribe is the Glasswalkers, who own a club downtown. While everyone discusses where to go from here, the door opens. In walks Hexadecimal, followed closely by a bloodied, filthy, and exhausted dot matrix. Chapter 2, 18, The Moon Reversed. While Falcon and Dot speak privately, Anton finishes his bloodwalk ritual. He learns that Talbot is currently blood-bound to 2 kindred, and 3 people are bound to him. Dot doesn't know exactly what happened to her, only that she was staked in the freezer of a mall food court, guarded by 4 La Sombra. Cirrus was able to find and rescue her, but started a fire and lost his arm in the process. Dot immediately agrees to making a deal with the Garu and their leader, Mooney, to rescue the other Primogen. The darkness at the Masquerade and the La Sombra guarding Dot confirm that the clan is involved, and Talbot will have to be moved. Dot instructs them to bring Prince Talbot to the Gangrel compound, where Alpha will provide a new place to store him. Hex drives Falcon and Dot back to the Nosferatu Haven, while the rest, including Talbot, are taken by Philip to see Alpha. On the way, Melisande sets up a public hiatus, and Aaron asks his co-worker Patrick to get information on Dr. Amanda Gilbert. Anton gives everyone a crash course on Clan La Sombra. They can be anywhere there is shadow, and use it to perform both fascinating and terrifying feats. Upon arriving at Lake Lanier, Alpha leads them all into the water, diving to the bottom until he reaches a submarine. Anton, Aaron, and Mel go inside while Thomasina returns to the shore to keep watch. The floor of the submarine is covered in ash, all that remains of the bodies that covered the lake during the final nights. Unable to risk anybody discovering them, Alpha and Denise spent 3 days disposing of them all. There were nearly 300 in total, not all Sabbat, but all beyond saving. Talbot will be kept here in the submarine of death. As a precaution against La Sombra, Alpha has also already ordered floodlights for the compound. He's been appointed by Dot as interim sheriff, and as such will make sure the city stays in line until the Primogen are returned. After the negative things Aaron has said about Alpha, Melisande is impressed. When everyone returns to the surface, they've received a group text from Elijah. Their job as shepherds doesn't stop just because the prince has committed treason. A Tremere by the name of Ethan Dulce has been located, teaching classes at the Phoenix and Dragon, an occult store that Anton thoroughly derides as New Age bullshit. Anton finds Ethan immediately when they arrive. Thinking the shepherds are customers, Ethan gives them all a tarot reading, drawing a single card for each of them. Thomasina gets the Hermit, Melisande the Hanged Man, Anton Temperance, and Aaron the World. All 4 cards are reversed. Ethan is visibly spooked by a reading full of reversed major arcana. The last time that happened, he was embraced. Anton takes the lead and explains that they're here to give Ethan the chance to learn about his situation and how to keep himself safe. Ethan interrupts to ask if anyone else is with them, because the Emperor reversed just fell out of his deck. Ethan is reluctant to go with the shepherds, but eventually relents and allows them to take him to Grace Manor. While Ethan is given a meal, Elijah talks to the shepherds privately. He can't sense Olivia, and that has him worried. The shepherds let him know that they do have a plan to get her back, although they don't tell him the extent. Thomasina asks why Elijah was programmed into their blue phones in the first place, since those are only supposed to be for communicating with Primogen. Elijah reveals himself to be the Thin-Blood Primogen. His existence as a Thin-Blood is Olivia's punishment for angering the wrong people. Elijah leads the shepherds to the library and opens a hidden safe. Inside is the document of the Atlanta Camarilla.
A large parchment document, and brings it over to a large table in front of all of you and unrolls it, and across the top in Olivia's very fancy calligraphied writing, you see a document entitled A Founding in the Ashes. There it is. There's your Atlanta Camarilla. When this city was founded, the original ideas of the Camarilla were not going to suit us. Atlanta is different. We do not have a lot of luxuries in the wake of the final nights that many other cities have. So we had to change and adapt things like both of your clans being here. This document is what allowed you to be here and protects you. It is why Falcon is not dead. Peruse it at your will.
Who knows about this?
No one. All the Primogen, Talbot, and myself. And only me because I had to copy it.
And the kindred at large just know that we operate under a different Camarilla, but they do not know the extent to which it's different.
They don't know it's a different Camarilla. They just think we have some differing rules.
I see.
When Falcon opened her mouth, they now might know.
They've all heard the name.
Yes, I have instructed other people to play it off as that is the title of an agreement that they made that Talbot would serve the city.
It's not wrong.
Not an entire Declaration of Independence, as it were.
To that end, for people not knowing what's in this, how can they be expected to obey it?
That's their Primogen's job. To inform them. I'm sure at any point you all have had interesting rules
Certainly.
come from your Primogen, things that maybe didn't make a bit of sense, but it was your Primogen's rule, so you listened to them. These rules function better when people think it is their Primogen's personal rule.
Most kindred of the city don't know that they live under a different Camarilla document entirely. If this was ever discovered, Atlanta could be branded as anarch. However, the Renashri Camarilla does state that princes are to be elected from nominees sponsored by a member of their own clan. When it was written, they never imagined that Talbot would commit treason, and thought that they had at least a few decades to work out the details of an election within the Camarilla. The current cover story is that Talbot has already chosen a successor who wishes to remain reclusive for the time being. This puts the court in a difficult position, needing to figure out how to hold an election without alerting the public to what is really going on. Before any of that can happen, though, the Primogen must be rescued. Thank you for tuning into BiteNotes. Remember, liking, commenting, and subscribing do not violate the Masquerade. You can view full episodes of ATL by Night on our YouTube channel. We stream Tuesdays at twitch.tv/ATL by Night. Remember to support us on Patreon and follow us on Twitter. Until next time, good night.